Welcome back to Fake Gamer Bro, where I forgot the intro again. It's, the games that I love to hate and hate to love and love in general with no other prerequisites or addendums. That's not my intro. Anyway, hello, and we are here with Pam. It's been a while, and we're not talking about Farm RPG this time.
No, we are not, and I haven't actually played that game in about as long, so good.
Yeah, there's been a lot of updates to that. I might get back to it. I'm thinking about doing a October Halloween mobile game event thing.
Yeah,
So I'm probably gonna get back into it for October.
I'm sure it would be great for that. I'm sure they're doing something fun again.
Oh, they always do. I love
Yeah,
their little trick or treat shit. I did it last year too. But again, we're not talking about that,
right.
despite all evidence to the contrary. Instead, we are peaking my mic that I need to pay more attention to
Oh,
and talking about living in the ending world, as I assume the title of this episode will clue you in on.
yes,
Uh,
hopefully.
yeah. I mean, if I didn't change it to something weird, I don't know why I would have. I don't think of those fun creative titles that often.
Oh, there's no promise that people can read either.
That's true. They're listening to a thing and not reading it, so you
Yes.
don't need the reading skills. Living in the Ending World is a mobile game, and it used to be a game on Steam as well, but they took it off of Steam. They delisted it in February, so I had already bought it, so I can still play it. But it is a very small little indie text adventure game. It's all black and white. It's got little images at the top to kind of show you a vague idea of what's going on. And you are a kid in the post-apocalyptic world, and you have you found one of your classmates, and it's a survival RPG roguelike, I guess.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, it's it has mostly negative reviews on Steam, and
Yeah,
then it's
that's
only like 21
interesting.
reviews.
That is really fascinating to me.
Yeah, I love it a whole lot. I think I started playing it before this podcast went on hiatus, and I just never made an episode about it. I still play it off and on. There's a bunch of different endings, and I've gotten a bunch of different endings, but they don't show up on anything because some were on Steam and some were on my old phone, and I got a new phone, and all the achievements went away. But yeah, so there's a bunch of different endings that you can get depending on events that you can randomly get, and depending on there's things that you can work towards.
Yes.
So the basic mechanic is you start out having you were in like a boat or something, right?
Yes. On some kind of ship with a lot of your classmates. You don't get a lot of information about why you're there, but some kind of school trip,
Yeah.
assumedly. And then you hear nuclear warning sirens, and you get your first choice of the game pretty quickly. You choose between three, like, starting bonuses, essentially, which is like a few units of food or some tools, which are a knife and something else that I don't remember, or a video game console and some other thing I also don't remember. And each of those has different benefits, as you might guess. You pick one of those, and then everything goes black, and then you wake up on a beach. Mystery.
Mystery. Yeah, so the other thing for the game is also a wallet. I don't know what the other tools are. I'm just looking at the screenshot I
Mm.
got for the
Mm-hmm.
initial thing. And yeah, when you wake up on the beach, you find one of your classmates whose
Yes.
name I intended to get and then forgot.
Mari?
Oh, there it is. Machiko. I have it in the
Machiko.
screenshot.
Machiko.
Machiko.
We love Machiko.
She's great. So you're the one who does all the actions, but it's not like she never does anything. Like some survival games have it where like you're the main and then you have like this little girl with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're both like little kids, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
So she will help out with stuff, but she is like kind of weaker than you. I think she goes. So there's different meters. There's your stamina.
Mm-hmm.
That is a visible meter of like a certain amount of hearts, and
Yes.
each action like takes away your stamina, and some actions
Yes.
take away more stamina. There is your physical health and your mental health. Oh, there's also strength and smarts.
Yes.
But those don't
Those
really
are
go down.
those are
just go up.
stats, yeah, more like than
Those are stats,
yeah.
yeah. So I think Machiko's sanity goes down a lot more quickly than yours. I don't think she necessarily gets more sick than you do.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. She's kind of she's weak.
Yeah, but like she'll help you with stuff like moving things. I think the big thing. So the whole thing is you start on this beach, and your first task is to create a shelter.
Yes.
You do not recover that much stamina at the end of the day if you don't have a shelter, and you need either a wood plank or a scrap of metal to create it.
Yes. And I was reading through the Steam guides just to prepare for this, and also because I've apparently barely scratched the surface of this game myself, which
Oh
doesn't really
yeah,
surprise me.
yeah,
Apparently, on the third day, you're always guaranteed to get a wood scrap that you can build your first shelter with, so that's good to know.
yeah. I did forget about that. I read a lot of the guides back in the day,
Mm,
and then it's been a while since I've looked at them. Because one of the issues and why this gets negative reviews on
mm,
Steam and on the app stores and stuff, though I
uh-huh.
think it has better reviews on Google Play at least. It's very random. It's very RNG heavy, and it can lead to a lot of issues.
Yes. Oh, like, more so than most roguelikes, I'd even say, like, it's hard to deal with. It can feel a little like nothing you do matters sometimes.
It can. It's way more RNG than scripted for sure. Which does make it difficult because you are on a time limit. There are
Yes.
two timers, I
Mhm.
think. One for winter after you're there for a set number of days. I think
Yeah. I wanna say it's
it's
like
like 15 or 20 or something.
is it only 20?
I don't know.
The second one does the
Maybe
second
it's
one happen when it's like 40 or 50 days or something like that? I don't remember.
or are there two winter events? I haven't gotten that far in my more recent playthroughs.
I did, and I think I died to it once, and then a couple times I got past it, but yeah, I haven't really played a ton of playthroughs, so but yes, there are 2 winter events, and they're both terrible.
Yeah, yes. So I mostly remember the first winter event, and then so okay, in that case, then there's three timers because there's also the end of the world timer.
Yes. The world is indeed ending, as you might guess.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't do the things necessary to get yourself into a safe place or to get specific endings, you'll just have a general "y'all died because the world ended" ending.
Yeah, so you basically freeze to death, and I know like I had 2 decently long playthroughs, and that was one of them where that was the only time I got, like, an actual ending. That wasn't
Mm.
just you died to X thing before anything could happen. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's the second winter you're talking about. Is like it builds up to the end.
when you get through the second winter, you have a very limited amount of time to according to one of the guides, you need to get some blankets from the hospital to be able to survive. I haven't tested that, I don't know if that's true, but basically, you have to do something to be able to survive the coming winter because after that second snowstorm where you can't go anywhere, very quickly after that, if you're not prepared, you will just freeze to death.
Yeah. As you can tell, the stakes are pretty
Yeah.
dire in this. And the thing is there are so many endings, and I haven't unlocked. I think maybe I did about half of them.
Mm,
I think so. It's like I said, it's been a bit since I've gotten to the ending part of things, but I know how to do some of them.
mm.
And there's also like little special events that can happen. But and there's all these locations that you can go to, and certain locations you need to like. Okay, obviously, like a hospital, if you're sick, go to the hospital to find supplies to heal you.
Mhm.
If you're extremely sick, you might get a room that you can just go to and like go from severely ill to like healthy, which is amazing.
Yeah, I never got to that, but yeah.
But the counter to that is the hospital is also more likely to scar you mentally and lower
Yes.
your sanity.
Yes.
Because it's the hospital in the post apocalypse. Like things are not looking good there, right?
And Machiko is definitely a concern there. My god, this girl. She will see a corpse and just, like, die immediately.
Yeah. Because I think the sanity mechanic, I think it's pretty interesting in this. If Machiko's sanity goes too low, she will randomly attack you. You can die because Machiko attacks you.
Yeah, it's fun. 'Cause she takes, like you basically have, like, 100 stamina represented by these, like, 10-unit hearts, and she will take, like, 30 in a single night, and it's not fun.
Yeah, because you only recover like 15 to 20 each night
Yeah,
under the
and
best
yeah, under the
circumstances.
best circumstances. If you're sick, it's more like 5, and it can get to the point recover
Yeah.
anything, and that's also fun.
And for yourself, if you lose your sanity, then if it gets to a certain point, the words on the screen are wrong. Like they're nonsense words.
Yes, that was kinda fun. really
Yeah.
obstruct anything because you kind of get to the point where you've memorized most of the events and where all the options are. It's just kind of a fun little aesthetic touch.
Yeah, because like none of the word, some of the words are like really hard to understand, but especially like you said, you've been it through a couple of times, and some of them is like, okay, well I see that this says half or this says
Yeah.
whatever. There's just so many random events, and some of them you think that it does the one thing every single time, and then try it again,
Yes.
and it does something different. And like there are a couple different survivor events, and
Mhm.
most of the time it might do one thing, and then another time it might do another thing, because like there's one survivor event that you do have to engage with more, that can give you like a few different rewards. In one of those you need in order to get a certain ending.
Yes.
Like it's wild.
Yeah, I was definitely reading about that. It's hard. It's hard to like because this is one of those games where you have the hundreds of playthroughs. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna learn from each run as I go through it to progress further the next time. I don't get to carry anything over, but I get to carry my knowledge over. But then becomes difficult when you do have these events that can have two different outcomes, and you just never really know. And so you just have to bet essentially and say, am I willing to risk the bad thing to get the good things?
And again, that's one of the frustrations that people have with this game, is it is very random, and it is
Mhm.
a lot of guesswork, which is why like in the description itself on Steam, on Google Play, I'm pretty sure on the App
Mhm.
Store, it says this is best played with
Yes.
friends, when you are talking to your friends and sharing
Yes.
things. And I think it's very hard to have that type of game with no audience base.
Mhm.
Like if there aren't enough people playing your game to share with other
Yeah.
people. I don't know how update the Steam community was since the last time I looked, but there were endings people still didn't know how to do.
Yeah, and people are asking questions and just no one had the answer. And reviews and comments are all from like 2020 to 2022. There's one
Yeah,
review.
mine's I have mine in there
There was one
somewhere.
review from like May 7th of this year.
I need to actually review it. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, then you'll be one of the 5 English reviews.
Right. Yeah, it is originally Japanese, I believe.
Yeah, and it's also in Chinese and English on the Steam page, it says. And some of these reviews are definitely in Chinese. I didn't look at all of them, but it looks
Yeah.
like a pretty even audience across languages.
And it's so funny because when you go to like the developer page and the publisher page, they don't do anything else like this. A lot of it's like anime girl games, you
Yeah, I
know?
have not looked, but that's interesting. They got experimental.
Yeah, there's a couple of different websites for them. Like the publisher doesn't even list this as one of their games.
It is delisted now, I guess. It doesn't exist anymore.
It's delisted, yeah. And I they probably didn't have anything to do with the mobile port,
Yeah.
or not ports. Mobile came out first. But yeah, the publisher from mobile, like they have it on there, but like all their other games are just like cute anime girl looking games. I didn't look at the mechanics or anything. I was just like looking at aesthetic vibe, and it's just like they're all cute, right?
They just wanted to make something dark once.
I guess, yeah, because I think it looks cute in a little kid horror way.
Mhm.
Like you can describe like Little Nightmares as cute, I think.
Yeah, I do love their little portraits when they, like the insane ones are the most off-putting, like,
Oh yeah,
sick, but then when they're insane, they make, like, these kind of like, oh, what are those things from Animal Crossing with, like, the holes for a face? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not. It's been a while since I played Animal Crossing.
But it's like these little they're like almost like cactus-looking things, and they just have faces that are like 3
Oh
holes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
The
'Cause
builder
their
guys,
eyes
yeah.
just, like, go blank, and it's just I don't know, it feels like, "They're gonna get me."
Yeah, and that's the most horror you see on screen. Like they don't show you dead
Yeah, no,
bodies.
they don't.
They don't show you anything like that. It which might be worse, left up to the imagination, but
Yeah.
I'm glad it doesn't show on
Yeah, it
screen.
doesn't really.
Especially like one of them is like you can get into a house that is just, oh, there's a bunch of
Oh
flies
my
buzzing
god,
around
I
it.
was
Maybe this is food. And that is the quickest way to get Machiko down to
Yeah,
insane stab you territory.
that's the speedrun strat, is just hope you encounter the
Yeah.
house early. 'Cause I was so
Yeah.
pissed the first time that happened. There 'cause there's a similarly worded it's one of those things where you have to pay attention to the wording where, like, one event is good and one event is bad, and you just have to know which one is which. And there was a similarly worded one where you do it and there's, like, food, and so I thought it was that one, and so I did it. It's not food.
No, no,
It's
it's
not
not.
food.
It's I don't know what the similarly worded one where it is food. I just avoid all the house
That's
ones.
fair. That's
Like
fair.
not going in
I just
there.
no, there's a different one where it says something similar about there being bugs and maybe there's food inside than it actually is.
Yeah, maybe it's just the events random.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. It might be that too.
It's so you really have to tailor your playthrough around what you get. Like
Yes.
if you get a fishing rod early on, which is so
Mhm.
crafting is another one of the
Yes,
mechanics.
crafting,
So you
crafting.
get like a wooden pole, and then if you get some sort of wire, there are a couple of different wires you can use. Which that's what I like about crafting is there's multiple recipes you can
Yeah.
have, and you even have the option to say I don't want to craft it with this recipe. I'd like to do a different recipe.
Yeah.
The annoying thing about crafting is you have to go through every single like there is an order to the craft. Do you
Yeah.
want to craft seaweed? Do you want to turn seaweed
Yeah,
into food? Do you want to turn nuts
you
into
have to
food? Do you want
cycle
to
through
turn
one by one, yeah.
yeah, it's not like a clickable
Yeah.
list. There are different recipes.
The other thing I saw on the Steam page, which I kind of agree with, I don't remember if this was like a review or a help or whatever, but someone said that it bothers them that when you craft something, you have to craft like the full amount that you can at once. You can't pick the amount that you're
Oh
going to
yeah,
craft, which can be a bitch with seaweed specifically because seaweed turns into food, which is great.
seaweed and nuts. Yeah,
But yeah, I haven't gotten nuts personally, so I'm just a
fair
seaweed
enough.
whore, I guess. But yeah, if you when you craft something, you have to craft as many of those things as you're capable of crafting as you have the resources for. And as far as food goes, having too much food is a problem, which is really stupid, but it is what it is. And I can kind of get it. Like if you hoard a bunch of food, it kind of removes one aspect of the survival of the game, I guess, of the struggle, which I can kind of understand wanting to balance that out. But it still sucks. But yeah, essentially, I read that if you have a level 3 base, this isn't a problem anymore. I haven't gotten
yeah.
far enough to build a level 3 base, so I couldn't see that for myself, but good to know. But there's a random event where a bunch of rats come and destroy your base and eat your food. So all your food's gone and your base is back down to level 0. And obviously that can be totally devastating if you're not prepared for it. And that's also one of the really bothersome things about it being kind of out of your control. I feel like this is one of the most, for me personally anyway, this is one of the most frustrating random things is that you can also find food. Obviously, there's certain events where you find food or you open a trunk and there's food. And sometimes these events happen, they're not a choice. You can't avoid them. They just happen to you when you're exploring. And so you have to be careful about choosing to explore or to craft. And there's no functionality where you can just wait and not spend your time doing anything. You have to do something. So if you can't craft anything, you have to go out and explore, which feels like it's kind of forcing you into potentially finding food, which would force you into having too much food, which would force you into having everything wrecked.
Yeah, it is really a line you have to try to pay attention. Like again, like you said, it's random, so it can be hard to even do anything about. Like sometimes you just have no choice
Yeah.
because I think it triggers once you get to like 5 or 6 food. And to be clear, every night you have the choice for each of you to eat no food, half a food, or one
Hmm.
food. And if you eat no food or half a food too many times, then you and Machiko can become hungry,
Yes.
which then like lets you get sick more
Yes.
easily and doesn't recover as much
Hmm.
stamina, and so that could be an issue. But obviously, if you eat one food every single night, like especially if you can only have up to 5 or 6 until you get that level 3
Hmm.
base, you are really limited with how much food you have on
Yeah.
hand. And the seaweed is nice because you can have seaweed that will turn into food without you having food.
Hmm.
But then if you decide to craft the seaweed and you can make like 6 food out of that, you better be able to eat that tonight and then not find any more food the next
Yeah.
day. So it's a struggle.
I for some reason I thought the cap was like 9 or 10, but maybe I just got lucky and never experienced it at a lower amount. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've experienced it by like 6 food.
Yeah, that's a bitch.
It's a bitch. So I try to, as soon as I get to 4 or 5 food, I try to avoid, I mean, again, you get random events, sometimes you just get food.
Right.
But I try to avoid doing things I know will get me food. Like, so you can open up different areas to
Yes.
explore. So I might go to the hospital, which is less likely to have food.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
if you can't craft. But I still love it so much. That's why I wanted to do.
No, that's fair. It's fair, man. It's not like there's nothing to love about it.
Yeah, like there is a dog event
Yes,
you
the
can
dog.
get.
We love the dog.
Yeah, and so you have to find the dog on the beach, then the library, then the hospital, then the
Mhm,
hill, then the power plant, and then I think the park after
mhm.
that. It might be left out. Oh no, there's also a school in there. There's a bunch of
Yeah,
places to explore. And you can get an ending, like a special dog ending if you do all the dog events.
any game with a special dog ending is automatically good. I don't make the rules.
Right. Yeah. And I just love that that's a thing,
Yeah,
but sometimes you go through and you don't find the dog and you can't just keep chilling at the beach until you find the dog. But the beach is good because you can randomly it's more likely to have sanity increasing
mhm.
things where you just have a nice day on the beach.
Yeah, you can,
The
like,
beach
see
is
the
also good if
sunset.
you have a fishing
Yeah,
rod.
yeah.
Yeah. If you have the fishing rod, then you might randomly be able to have the option to
Yeah,
fish at the beach. So it's really knowing what random events are more likely to
mhm.
happen at any particular place.
Yeah. The fishing pole is nice because you can use it a few times before it, like, breaks and becomes unusable as games do.
Yeah.
But I've had pretty good luck with the fishing pole whenever I've been able to get it. I think it's like you can catch a big
Yeah.
fish or a small fish or like a boot or something.
Yeah. Thankfully the boot hasn't happened to me too many times,
Yeah.
but it is nice that it's a quick easy way to get food.
Yeah.
So usually if I'm running low, I'll just go to the beach for the
Yeah, that's
last
good.
event of the day.
I saw hammocks are really reliable for like a sanity raiser too, and that's another thing you can build just from exploring the beach. So it's good stuff.
Gosh, I forgot about the
Yeah.
hammock. I mean, we could go through
Yeah.
each of
Yeah,
the
we
things,
could.
and it's
Yeah,
kind of
man.
it's kind of tempting to.
Oh, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, each area has its own thing, and there's things I haven't explored yet.
There's plenty I haven't explored. You've explored more than me.
Right, yeah. I played a lot. I played a lot.
I like that you can just like tie a knife to a stick.
Oh, that helps so much. Especially
Yeah.
when you get over to the hills or whatever it's
Mm.
called. Because then you can get like animals and traps. Like there's a boar at a trap, and if you have the knife on the stick, you can kill it without hurting
Ooh,
yourself,
that's cool.
and then get meat from that.
Nice. Yum yum.
Yeah. It's a lot of cool things you can do. Like having a stick in general
Yeah,
helps you with some
like
random
when
events.
things work out, when the RNG is in your favor, it is a really cool game. It can be frustrating to get on a good run. It can be frustrating to maintain a good run, but if you can handle that, or if you even enjoy it, you masochist, then it's great. It's a good time.
Yeah, yeah. If you know what to look for in different places, if you have people you can,
Yeah. No, knowing
go
is
back and
good.
forth with.
Knowledge is your
Yeah,
friend,
yeah.
absolutely.
It really, really is, especially getting those endings.
Mhm.
Again, there's endings we still don't know about. I might have to do some searching to see if there's more, but there's probably not going to be as many conversations about it now that it's
Yeah,
delisted on Steam. It's still on the App
yes,
Store and Google
it very
Play.
much
It's
is,
like
yes.
199, I
Eh,
think.
was it 199? That sounds right. I can't check because I haven't
Maybe like
installed,
$2.
so
Yeah, same. I have a Google Play Pass and it's free for Google Play
mm,
Pass, which is probably why I got it in the first place.
yeah, no, that's fair.
Which is cool because like it's such a small like little game. I didn't think it'd be on Google Play Pass, but it is.
Yeah. No, I'm glad it is. It's really well formatted for mobile too. It's really suited to that. You can kind of tell because when you look at the Steam page, it's like they just extended it
Oh yeah.
horizontally.
It's one of those clearly not made for PC, clearly made for mobile.
Yeah, but well made for mobile. It's good. Looks good.
It's good. Yeah.
I gotta like sorry to be random. I don't know. I don't remember how long you like to make these episodes, but like I needed to because I read this one Steam review that was just it was really funny and really like I don't know, it like spoke to like the appeal of the game, I feel like, but also this person just went on like a philosophy essay and it was really funny and I was wondering if it would be okay if I just read it real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Um, so this was first of all, this person has point 0.3 hours on record, which is funny.
Oh. That's like nothing.
So the Steam description says that a good playthrough will take you like 5 to 6 hours just to get to like the true ending.
Yeah.
So just but bear with me. I really enjoyed this. So this is by Ephemeral Obsession on Steam. We credit here. So
Yeah.
here we go. Okay. Okay. It's a few paragraphs. Bear with me.
Okay.
Whereas it looks pretty appealing on the surface level, it just doesn't hold up when you're playing. And this is a positive review too, so this is really funny. Truth be told, the premise of two children trying to survive in an apocalyptic environment is really interesting. It gives off major Lord of the Flies vibes. You know, the whole children in a hostile place thing, except for, of course, the social commentary on authoritarianism and stuff. So, well, what you see here is what you get. Simple graphics on a black screen, text, and some choices. When it comes to choices, I'd say the choices matter tag that was assigned to this game is not quite correct. If your choice is right and you happen to have a good RNG, then you're free to move forward. But if that's not the case, then I hope you'll be comfortable in the main menu screen because you'll be seeing it a few times more. A few times. So, in a way, it's sort of weird that choices matter, as they might to some extent if the stars are aligned and you happen to have enough of a certain stat, and the dice roll properly, you might get your desired outcome. Yet, how much of that outcome is due to your choice then? I don't think RNG mechanics should be included for these kind of games unless we're talking about combat. Yeah, I know you can add some degree of randomness, and it is also easy to program, and it adds a lot of replayability, as this game could easily be completed if such a factor were not to be taken in mind, and our choices actually mattered, and we'd always got our desired outcome. I refunded this game, yet I will recommend it. Why is that? Well, because it kind of feels like real life. You ever trained a lot only to not see the results? Or maybe studied for a test, only to end up failing it? Perhaps decided to go somewhere, or do something that you thought would yield a nice result, and then discover that the outcome of such an action was not in your favor? They say God does not play dice, but did anyone prove this? Perhaps he got bored of being the whole day holed up in heaven, and decided it would be fun to play some dice with people's lives. And thus, there's a degree of randomness, and things beyond our control, even we feel like we're in charge of our destinies. Or perhaps he actually does not play dice. We have a saying here in our country, mostly used by old people. It goes like, si Dios quiere, which translates roughly to, if God wants, and it can be added to any desire you might have. I'll see you tomorrow, if God wants. And if he doesn't want it that way, then that won't happen. Then, in that train of thought, even after I farmed enough strength to actually face those people that wanted to mug me for my food, and pick.
Oh, you are breaking up so much.
Oh my goodness. Maybe I should just unplug my microphone. Hang on. Okay, I have no doubts that this quality is going to be a lot different, but do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Actually faced people wanted to mug me for my food, and picked the option to battle, only to end up all battered, and for all my food to end up in their hands, even if my choice mattered, and I had the proper stats. God playing dice didn't get the outcome I wanted for me, or he straight up didn't want me to win. So, in a sort of way, this game is similar to existence itself. Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art?
Okay, couple of things. One, if you refund an indie game, you're a piece of shit. I'm just gonna say that straight up. Especially because, like, it's not like this was $50 or something. It was like I don't know how much it was on Steam, but it's like, it's got to be under $10 on Steam, or it was. Obviously, you can't buy it anymore.
And yet they will
But
recommend it.
if you refund an indie game, you're a piece of shit, just off the bat.
Yeah.
For two, I don't know what strength you have to be to fight those guys, but also there's another mechanic to some fights where you can make like firecrackers and Molotov cocktails and shit, and those are your weapons, right? But just 0.3 hours of the game.
That's so funny.
Get philosophical about God rolling dice in your life.
I had to read that because I was just like, seriously.
That's wild. It's a wild thing.
I mean, I already thought it was funny, and then I saw 0.3 hours, and I'm like,
the 0.3 hours really just brings it to a whole other level.
It's so good. I love it. I love this person.
Like, that will get you like a few runs when you first start and you don't know exactly how to do things. There's no way he got enough strength to fight off those people at the beginning.
Probably not, but also I love that I refunded it, and yet I will recommend it because it is like real life.
Yeah. Okay. And in real life, I'm a piece of shit who takes money from indie developers.
I guess.
I don't know. No wonder it got delisted if people can just like take their money back.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I don't know what that was. The only negative reviews are, normal stuff, just like, oh, this is kind of like Oregon Trail, but more RNG heavy, and I don't like that, or it's too difficult and I don't want to do it, and like, whatever, it's not for everybody, that's fine. But
yeah,
waxing poetic is just like
yeah, waxing poetic about how God rolls dice, but maybe he doesn't roll dice.
Maybe
but maybe
not.
he does. And what if You know, it's like, okay, save it for philosophy 101, my guy.
Hmm.
Okay, let's wrap up with some final thoughts. What would you say is your overall thoughts about this game?
I do enjoy me a good roguelike. I don't mind playing things over and over again to get a good result and learning from past playthroughs and whatnot. Like, that's fine. It is frustrating when it feels like everything is out of your hands and everything you did to prepare didn't matter because you got a few bad dice rolls and now you're dead. Far from a perfect game, far from a terrible game. I think it's one of those things where like you need to have the patience for it, I guess, and not everybody's gonna have the patience for that or find it appealing. Fine, but if you do, I'd recommend it. I'd say you could have some fun with this game. I do like the writing. I think the writing's really cool. I think the aesthetic's really cool. I think the locations are cool. I think just the nature of it, the nature of the things that can happen to you make sense and are enjoyable to read, even if you are reading them over and over and over. It's definitely got, like, kind of a visual novel aspect to it, where the images aren't so much what matters, but the description of what's happening is what pulls you in, and I think that's neat. So, I'd say pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Obviously, I have more brainworms for this,
Yeah.
and I think if you have Google Play Pass, there's no harm in down like you don't
Yeah.
have to spend any money on it. You download it, you play it. If you don't, like I personally think it's worth whatever $2 or $3 it is
Yeah, it's really
just
not
to
that expensive.
experience it.
Yeah.
And because like that, there's no ads in it. There's no
No, there's not. I love that. That's worth mentioning. That is so worth mentioning. No ads, no microtransactions, no annoying bullshit. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is what it is on the surface. It is the game that it's a text game that you go through and you die a lot and you learn.
Yeah.
I think it is best if you have a friend group who is into it so you can share tips with.
Yes.
I didn't have that. I
Mhm.
sometimes talked on the Steam
Yeah.
page and learned some stuff there, but I think honestly if you can get people who are actually like digging into this and figuring things out,
Mhm.
it will be a heck of a lot more fun than not, but obviously I still think it's a good time without that. I do agree randomness can be extremely frustrating.
Yes.
Like sometimes you just won't get a blanket for the winter. Sometimes you won't get enough food
Mhm.
before the winter or before a thing and there's like you did everything quote unquote right and that's just how it is. But
Mhm.
I still think it's good. Especially you can run through the beginning pretty quick once you know it. Once you have it down pat, you don't have to pay as much attention to
Mhm.
what's going on. But I definitely recommend it. I hate that it got delisted on Steam, but I definitely understand, especially people are refunding it and it's getting mostly negative reviews.
Yeah, that does suck.
But it's better on mobile anyway. It was clearly meant for mobile.
Yeah.
It's on both Android and iPhone, so it's
Um,
fine. It's not like it's inaccessible to people because of that, unless you don't have a phone that can do apps. Like I still have some friends who are like that. I will say the background. I was just thinking about it. The backgrounds for things are like the Homestuck Prospect in Durst,
oh my god.
where it's just it looks like real images, but then like a layer's put over it, like a black and white layer,
Yeah.
and kind of made it look more
Oh my
grainy and
god.
stuff.
I keep clawing my way away from Homestuck and it keeps coming back. But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very much like that, for sure.
So overall, I'd say if you have a few bucks to spare, go
Yeah,
for it. If you have
yeah.
Google Play, definitely go for it. It's a simple, fun game. You can play through it and see if it's your thing, and if it's not, and that's
Yeah,
fine. But you
yeah.
still gave it a shot. And if more people get interested, and maybe they'll. I think this is a very good first draft for what could be a great game.
Yeah, it is. You know, and if somebody wanted to try to improve this concept, I wouldn't object to that. I'd probably play that. But,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you know, there's probably better games in this genre out there, but for this price, it really, you know, it's a good time. I don't know. I don't think it has to be anything
it's a
super
good time.
spectacular for $2 to $3. I think it's good.
Yeah, and despite what the against what the review was saying, I like the randomness. I don't like the extent of the randomness, but I do like the randomness as
Yeah,
an aspect. I like that there is some unpredictability. I
yeah,
again, like, if we do have that thing where after 3 days you definitely get something where you can make a shelter. I think there should be more benchmarks like that put in.
yeah. That would be good. Because I definitely don't agree with like that one reviewer who played for 0.3 hours. The thing she said about like I don't think RNG should be part of a game like this. Like then it wouldn't be a game like this.
Absolutely, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. But like
That's an entirely different
yeah,
game
I
that
know.
you want.
But no, it's definitely a little heavier than it probably should be, and that
Yeah,
can be
especially with
annoying.
how many endings you can get.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, if you are just going into it on your own, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to be really confused and you're going to think you're doing everything right and then get a bad ending and be like, "Huh?"
Yeah, it's tough, but if I persevered, so can you.
Yeah. No, it's worth persevering through. Perseverance is not for everyone, but it's worth it. I think so.
Yeah, I think if you can get to the point where you get the map and you can go to other locations,
Yes.
and after that you don't like it, then yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But I think you should definitely get the map and go to other locations and start figuring things out from there.
It's kind of like exciting when you can first read the map too. Like you get your knowledge high enough and you're like, "Wait a minute.
Yes,
I'm actually
yeah,
getting somewhere.
it's
Wow."
it's very good. I do like that. Get knowledge, and I can read now. But I know
Yeah,
it's like
I
reading a
can
map.
read now.
Reading a map is different than just.
Yeah. No, it's really funny if you don't have enough knowledge and it's just like, "You don't understand any of this. What are you doing?" You're like, "Damn, okay."
It's great. It's great. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's so many I could talk about so many little things in just the beach area alone.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
like we said, it's not a perfect game,
Right.
but it's worth it. If anything about what we said interests you, give it a shot. It's a good game. I really like it. Next time, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I was thinking
Mm.
maybe Backpack Brawl. I haven't been playing a lot of that since I first talked about it. But has there been any other games you've been playing that we might chat about later?
Oh, I have my phone with me actually. Let me look real quick. I mean, I've already talked about in like DMs and stuff, like playing Solitarica again because I'm just a slut for that game. It is what it is. Um,
Yeah. One of my people in my server, I just interrupted you after asking what
oh,
you're
you're good.
playing.
You're good. What?
Night of the Full Moon is a game that got recommended to me. It's a
Okay.
roguelike deck builder that is based on Red Riding Hood.
Oh, okay.
So it's like and there's multiple endings to that, and there's so I have it on Google Play Pass, so I don't have all of the content, but I have most of it. And there's other stories, like I said, there's multiple endings, and you have to do like one ending to get to another ending,
Okay.
type of shit. And yeah, it's Red Riding Hood can be like a ranger or a knight or a mage. I really like the magician where you have a bunch of counter cards. So we might talk about that because that was really fun. I played through that
Okay.
a couple of
I
times.
might, I might have to play that then.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Sorry, but what else were you playing?
Not a ton at the moment. I have a handful of like cute little idle games, but idle games are kind of hard to talk about for a while. You're like, oh, this is a cute game, and you leave it in the background, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be like a
Um.
bulk episode of like
Yeah.
5 idle games we've been playing.
Yeah. There's a few that I downloaded and then just like never really got into.
Oh, that's a mood all the time.
What was the one other one though that I wanted to mention? Where is that? Oh, right. Fucking long story. I still want to play another run through of that because it's been literal years and I remember loving it so much and I want to see if it was actually any good.
Yeah, that's one thing we talked about before the hiatus of
Yeah,
doing
we
it, and then
talked
I
about
never played
that.
it. I
Yeah.
downloaded it.
Oh, well hey, we're getting somewhere
Yeah,
someday. It's a long story of how we're gonna get around to recording long story.
yeah, no, for real.
um
If y'all have any game recommendations, you
yes.
can join the Discord
Woo!
in the link below and send it there. You can send me an email, jaxyax@gmail.com.
Hmm.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm still there until it dies because I just already have the
God.
account there and there's still plenty of people there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fake Gamer Bro on there. I no longer have a Tumblr. I'm hoping to get that back.
Oh no.
Tumblr finally emailed me after several months. So maybe I'll get Tumblr back, but I'm not there right now.
God. Poor thing.
And pretty much, yeah, just join the Discord. It's it's a chill place. We talk about games sometimes. I don't know. I never want to be like, yeah, it's pretty dead. There's no conversation. That's good, right? Because I think it's good. I love it when almost no one talks in a new Discord server I join. But no, we do have some people who chat a lot. It's been getting more poppin' lately.
That's good.
Just a lot of server members overwhelm me.
Aw.
But also you want it, it's like you want it to grow, but you don't want it to get so big that it's like
Oh
I
god,
am
yeah.
talking in a sea of thousands of voices.
Yeah, then you have to like actually moderate it and it's like, oh my god, how do we deal with this?
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, join the Discord server. That's all your I post polls about what I should do next. I post other just random shit in there. You'll find out about my streams. That's the best place. I also have a newsletter that I've been terrible about updating because I've been sick lately, and so I just haven't been posting the newsletter. Also, like, no one reads it, so it's fine.
Fair enough.
But there's links to everything below. But yeah, join the Discord. You can also support me on Ko-fi for as little as $1 a month to get bonus episodes and stuff.
Woo! Do it.
Anyway, thank you for listening. I'll see you again. I think I've been saying I'll do this like once a month. I'm really glad I said that because, like I said, I've been sick for a few weeks, so I haven't been able to do shit.
Yeah. Oof.
So we'll stick for once a month until I can get more recordings under my belt. So yeah, see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you to Dami for composing the theme song and editing the episode. You can find more of her work at soundcloud.com/dominothief. Shout out to our Fakest Fan tier supporters, Danny the Spoon Lord and Tezrak. You can become a supporter and receive early episodes and bonus content for as little as $1 a month over at ko-fi.com/jaxyaks, or simply give a one-time tip. For information on and links to my other projects, head over to jaxyaks.com. Thanks again for listening.